Hello, and thank you for tuning in. I wanted to do a tad bit of research on the origin of humans. Of course, I don't have a problem with looking at different theories. I personally do not have a problem about ancient Sumeria, Enki, and Enlil, and all the other stuff, and UFOs, interdimensional beings, portals, angels, and the likes. I don't have a problem looking at any of that. I don't, and listening to it. I really don't, because I think there's more to this life than we're led to believe. I really do. And let me get this going. Flip this around. Hello there, bang bang mucka bang. Hello there, you Apple Brooks. Hello, Apple Brooks, honey. Your name don't go as well as a bang bang mucka bang, but that's okay. That's okay. Gina still loves you too. Yes, I do. I do, you all. So I'm sitting here thinking about the origin of humans and ancient Sumerian texts. Yes, see, I don't have a problem looking into all of that. I don't. It doesn't bother me. My conscience does not convict me whatsoever. If it's out there, then we can look at it. We really can. If they don't want you to look at something, you will not be having access to even finding it. You wouldn't. Hello. And thank you for joining. I want to come over here. I hope I can get myself organized. Somebody said, Gina, you need to be more organized when you start a video. Well, sometimes I think I am organized, and then something happens as soon as I start the video, and it's not so organized. Okay, it isn't. But that's okay. You are. We're going to come over here. So I was looking up this right here, Enlil and Enki. And I asked myself, did I once remember hearing that Enki and Enlil, one could quite possibly, this is how one story goes, one could quite possibly, they could be Jesus and Satan. They could be one and the same. They could just be myths and stuff. The very first time I'm going to tell you, based on my background, where I came from, how I grew up, I was totally shocked to even hear the suggestion of them too. Totally shocked. I didn't want to hear it. I literally I can't take no more because I couldn't. I really couldn't take any more. Hello there, Tisha Marie, honey. Thank you. I couldn't take no more, you all, because of my upbringing. I grew up in church, okay, all of my entire life, and I start this journey and I hear about Enki and Enlil. So much information, and I thought, I can't believe my eyes. That's blasphemy and stuff, but I think there's more to the story. So let's look at this. So I was over here, and I was looking at it. Yeah, so look at this. So I found this site. There's so much information out there. I hope you all can hear me. I want to be on this screen. The origins of human, ancient Sumerian texts reveal everything. And there are a lot of ancient texts out there. There's lots of writings and stuff like that. And I read that a lot of the Judaism is from the Sumerians. That's what I heard, a lot of what it's about. Let's look at this one picture. I saw something on here. Where did you know, honey? What did you look at and where did you see it? I saw it somewhere, you all. I promise you I did. I wanted to look at this, if I haven't got it already opened. Let me look at this right here. So I think I did a video, something on this, trying to explain it, even though I didn't know how to explain it. I tried to. These are like these, the Annunaki, or like Sumerian gods or stuff. Now, granted, I don't claim to be an expert. I just want to say right now, I don't claim to be an expert at this at all. I'm not. There are other people who literally have this stuff down pat. But I'm just, I'm all over the place. But look at this. Looks like the Annunaki and stuff. And then you see their little symbol right there, like the gods and stuff. So let me put this back to me. I want to get back to where I'm supposed to be going. I'm trying to organize myself a lot better, you all. Yes, I am. Oh, you watching football games? Gina, honey, take some time off. Eddie, honey. Gina, honey, don't like sports. I don't like watching sports. But you can come back and look at me, because, all you have to do is just push that button, put the pause on, and you can come back after you watch your sports, and you can come watch this if you so desire. But no, I'm not into sports. I never was. Neither was my dad or my mother. Now I have some brothers and sisters who, their families that they married into, they're into sports. So that's fine, but I'm not. So look at this. So we have Sumer. We're going to get right down into it, you all. We can do this if I can get this going. Sumer, also known as the land of civilized kings. I didn't know that. Did you all know that? The land of civilized kings? Yes, the land of civilized kings. Yes, Apple Brooks, honey, you can cheer on those chiefs. Yes, you can. Whoever they are. That's right. Oh my goodness, you all. That's great. We got some ball players in here. You like the root. So Sumer, also known as the land of civilized kings, flourished in Mesopotamia. Now, I will admit, growing up, I did hear about Mesopotamia. That was a common word that I heard. Like it was like a land. That's all I knew about it. A land, an ancient land or era or something way back then. That's all right. That's all I knew about it. Somewhat around 45 BC. Yes, you are King Ahuka Mundo. You joined Georgina and everybody else. You bang bang mucka bang Apple Brooks. That's right. The land is currently known as Iraq. Oh, Mesopotamia, Iraq. That's really interesting. Sumerians formed an advanced civilization with its own system of detailed language and writing, architecture, arts, astronomy, and mathematics. Their religious system consisted of hundreds of gods. See, that I did not know. But, there had to be a reason why we went into Iraq. As per ancient texts, each Sumerian city was protected by its own god. That is really interesting, you all. That is. I wonder what gods these were. Does anyone have any clue as to what, if you heard that before, that each city had its own gods? Because I hadn't heard that before. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. So, and as humans and gods used to live together, the humans were servants to the gods. Now, see, this is what I recently found out. Of course, if you look at it from a everyday thing, you like to serve God and stuff like that. But to see it like this, as per ancient texts, each Sumerian city was protected by its own god. And as humans and gods used to live together, the humans were servants to gods. The Sumerian creation myth can be found on a tablet in Nippur, an ancient Mesopotamian city discovered in approximately 5000 BC. The original humans, according to Sumerian tablets, commenced this way. So this is really interesting because this is like ancient history, and I'm just going to say, again, I don't have a problem looking into ancient history, and I can look at it objectively. I really can. And it doesn't bother me to read it. It doesn't. I think it's quite interesting because, it's all a piece of the puzzle. We're just trying to figure things out. Although some people may be way ahead, I'm not there. I'm not. I'm just in the learning. I just like to learn, you all, just like everybody else. When in the height, heaven was not named, and the earth beneath did not yet bear a name, and the primeval Apsu, who begat them, and Chaos, Tiamat, the mother of them both, their waters were mingled together, and no field was formed, no marsh was seen, and when of the gods none had been called into being. Oh wow, none of the gods had been called into being. I didn't know that. So it was just Apsu and Chaos and Tiamat. Okay, that's fine. None of them were called into being, and none bore a name, and no destinies were ordained. Then were created gods in the midst of heaven. Lamu and Lahamu were called into being. I haven't heard this part. I haven't actually heard this version like this before, so it's really interesting. It is. So let's look at this. Sumerian mythology asserts that human-like gods ruled the earth at first, and when they descended upon the earth, these gods toiled the soil, digging to make it habitable and mining its minerals. The texts specify that at some point the gods rebelled against their labor. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. The gods rebelled against their labor. Now, I've heard of, the reptilians or whoever, they like this, they like the minerals and stuff. But are these gods right here that they're talking about, are they giant gods? Are they giant gods? They could be. You never know. Are they the angels? All of that. Portals. Yes. There's lots of portals. When the gods, like men, bore the work and suffered the toil of the gods was great. The work was heavy. The distress was much. Anu, the god of gods, agreed that their labor was incredible. His son Enki, or Ea, I'm sure not saying that right, suggested creating man to bear the labor, and so along with the help of his half-sister Ninki, he did. A god was put to death, and his body and blood were mixed with clay. Now, in the creation story, we heard that right there with clay, out of the dirt, out of the dust, something like that. The alleged mixture led to the origin of humans in likeness to the gods. You have slaughtered a god together with his personality. I have removed your heavy work. I have imposed your toil on man. In the clay, God and man shall be bound, to a unity brought together, so that the end of days the flesh and the soul, which in a God have ripened, that so in a blood kinship be bound. That sounds like a little bit of poetry. It really does. You have slaughtered a god together with his personality. I have removed your heavy work. I have imposed your toil on man. In the clay, God and man shall be bound, to a unity brought together, so that to the end of days the flesh and the soul, which in a God have ripened, that so in a blood kinship be bound. Sounds like a mystery. This is how, according to this myth, according to this story right here that they've got, this is how they have said this has happened. This is how the first man was created in Eden. Eden is a Sumerian word that means flat terrain. Oh, wow. Flat terrain. Is it flat over there in Iraq? Yeah. Is it flat in Iraq? Let me do this, you all. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to copy this in here for you all. The link that I'm reading from, you can read it. Yeah. So let's look at this. The writings meant something different on what they mean, but are more in fact a reality. So in the Epic of Gilgamesh, Eden is classified as the garden of the gods and is situated somewhere in Mesopotamia between the Tigris and Euphrates. I sat through many church services listening to the preacher trying to figure out where the Garden of Eden was. They devoted so much time trying to figure out where it was. Yeah. I don't know if they ever figured it out. But this is really neat. I never heard of this. Eden is classified as the Garden of the Gods and is situated somewhere in Mesopotamia between the Tigris and Euphrates. Yeah, Eden means plain. So Eden is a Sumerian word for flat terrain. I guess you could say plain. Like you say, the Garden of Eden. So when I heard the word Garden of Eden, you think of something very beautiful like Garden of Eden. Let me see. If you do an image of it, you think, oh, it looks like paradise and things like that. Something very beautiful. Just like this. I guess. But according to this, it was flat terrain, and it was the Garden of the Gods. At first, human beings were unable to procreate on their own, but were later modified with the help of Enki and Ninki. Now, how did they modify these humans? Okay, how did they? I'm sure they were very intelligent, according to this article right here. Thus, Adapa was created as a fully functional and independent human being. I've not heard of Adapa before. This modification was done without the approval of Enki's brother Enlil, and a conflict between the gods emerged. Newfound studio. It does sound like that. Enlil became the adversary of man, and the Sumerian tablet mentions that men served gods and went through much hardship and suffering. I could see that. I really could see that. You know, if you think about, really, if you think about the building of the Great Pyramid, you know how you see the stories and how the Egypt and the Moses story, you know, trying to free them and stuff, but they were there just building and building and building and building, and Pharaoh didn't want to let them go. So it's really interesting. Adapa, with the help of Enki, ascended to Anu, where he failed to answer a question about the bread and water of life. That's really interesting. Opinions on the similarities between the story of the origin of humans and thus the biblical story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve in Eden. So opinions vary. Opinions vary. I don't want to look at that thing right there. That looks scary right there. I think they want it to look scary. I really do. So this is like one story of them. Origins of humans. And if you come over here, if you look at Exodus right here, you have the 10 Commandments. The first one, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. And according to this, you know, they say humans were like slaves. They served the God. They served the gods is what it said. But Exodus says, you shall have no other gods before me, and you shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything in the heavens above, on the earth below, or in the waters beneath. So I came over here. I was looking at this first. Somebody had posted this in Reddit saying, I just read a story about Enki and Enlil, and I'm so confused. And as a Christian, and always have a strong belief, I'm trying to fit Enki and Enlil in the story of the Christians. And the article said Enlil was Jesus and Enki was Satan, but it also mentioned that they were brothers and both mean well. So, oh, Gina, honey, no, don't do that. I don't want to look at people's muscles. I really don't. Bang, bang, mucka bang. King Ahukamendo, you're giving out some good info. That's wonderful. That's why they screwed our... Well, you know, that's really interesting because not everybody has that, Lisa Jones, that RH reptilian blood. They really don't. So this is really interesting. So we have this person asking about this, and someone has... Since you mentioned trying to fit the Mesopotamian myth into the Christian myth, I can only assume that what you read was an account of the deluge, of which we have several deluges. Yeah. So the two earliest are Eridu Genesis and the Epic of Atrahasis, of which our earliest copies come from the 16th century BCE, and an account of the deluge appears on tablet... Is that tablet 10, 11? You all, I've even forgotten my Roman numerals. I have, of the standard Babylonian edition of the Epic of Gilgamesh, dated to be between the 13th and 10th century BCE, is what it is. Bang, bang, mucka bang, you got notified. That's wonderful. That's great. Thank you, Newfound Studio. I thought it looked like that. So of these three, the Epic of Atrahasis is the oldest and the most complete form of the myth. But was it a myth? Was it once reality? See, if you listen to the Lord of the Rings as the beginning of it starts, The Hobbit, history became legend. Legend became myth. And for 2,500 years, the ring dropped out of something until somebody found it. Yeah, so that's how that goes. So this was a myth with the Epic of Gilgamesh borrowing heavy from it. Despite Eridu's Genesis being written in the Sumerian language, the text itself is dated to the Old Babylonian period. Babylonian pyramid. Well, isn't that where, I think I mentioned that the other day about the Babylonian Talmud, or Talmud, I can't say it, whatever, however it was said. I don't read it, by the way, I don't. And the portion describing the deluge itself is poorly preserved. The subsequent examples, the Epic of Atrahasis and the Epic of Gilgamesh, were both written in the Akkadian language. The Akkadian language. This means while the Sumerians very likely did have some form of deluge myth, but it's not a myth, all of the examples we have today come from a period during the Semitic speakers that had migrated into the region. Whether or not the deluge myth originates among the Sumerians or the Akkadians or the Babylonians is difficult to say. So they're talking about the Annunaki here. The gods create humanity and enculturate them. Sometimes this is in response to an internal conflict between two groups of gods. The high-ranking Annunaki and their subordinates, the Igigi. King Ahukamendo, did you say something about the Igigi or Gigi? I think you... What? You can't hear me? Bang, bang, can you all hear me? Because I show myself with sound. Igigi. 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 Okay, Igigi. Okay, that's fine because I look down here. Okay, that's first. Igigi. Igigi. That's okay. I can say it. I can say Igigi. Humanity multiplies their presence and becomes a nuisance to the king of gods, called Enlil, in the Sumerian and Elil Akkadian. And at first, Enlil tries to thin out the population using agricultural and medical means by sending droughts which cause famine and pestilence. However, Enlil's subordinate, a god called Enki in Sumerian and Ea in Akkadian, intervenes each time and teaches humanity the proper ceremonies and rituals to appease the gods, causing the droughts, the famines, and the pestilence. Ah, King Ahukamundo, that's okay. Frustrated that his attempts to control the population of humanity has been thwarted, Enlil convenes a council with the gods and decrees that no god may interfere with his final plan to regulate the population of humanity, a deluge. Enki, being the cleverest of the gods, uses a loophole to subvert Enlil's plan once more. Instead of directly warning humanity about the coming catastrophe, he whispers news of it into a wall. Well, I've not heard of that before. He mentions it into the wall. Next to the wall, one of Enki's most loyal and devoted servants is standing. In this way, Enki follows the letter of Enlil's decree, but subverts its spirit. He doesn't directly interfere, but it is also not responsible for a human overhearing the conversation. That's really interesting. if you think about it, you have Enki whispering into the wall, and you have a human being on the other side overhearing it, and follows the letter of Enlil's decree, but subverts it into spirit. See, then you have the story in the Bible where the hand is on the wall. Let me sing that song, you all. I want to sing the song. This is kind of like this because it's talking about a song. It's talking about a hand on. It's talking about him whispering into the wall. So I want to sing about that hand, the hand on the wall. Okay, I want to sing it, you all, if you haven't heard it. I am. I think I can find it. I really think I can find it, you all. If I can. Let me see. I got to find it. Yes, well, the hand roll. Yeah, you got that right. Yes, that's right. That's right, you all. If I can't find it, I'm not going to sing it. It may not even be I'm not supposed to sing it, you all. I'm not, so I can't sing it. I sung it before on this YouTube channel. I really did. But that's right. That's all right. No, I'm not going to sing it. All right, I can't find it right away. I'm supposed to be getting back to what I'm doing. See, I can get easily distracted is what I can do. Easily distracted, but I'm not going to. That's right. Is it the full moon tonight? I did take pictures of the full moon. I did. Let's look at this. So he wrote it on the wall, and he subverted it. The name of Enki's servant changes depending on the account. Zarathustra in the Eridu Genesis, Atrahasis in the Epic of Atrahasis, and Uta Napishtim in the Epic of Gilgamesh. Okay. Scholars today treat all three as incarnations of the same individual. So they're talking about an incarnation of the same individual. How can that be, you all? How can it be? But I thought they don't like to talk about reincarnation. That's what I thought. They don't want to talk about reincarnation, but they did. They had an incarnation of the same individual. They had forewarned Atrahasis takes Enki's words to heart and builds a boat for himself. That's Noah and his livestock, and they all prepare for the coming catastrophe, you all. That's the Noah. That's the Noah story, yeah. So Enlil commands that various gods and goddesses who can utilize the deluge both as an atmospheric phenomena, storms, or a weapon of war, unleash their power. The deluge descends, wiping humanity from the face of the earth, save the servant and his boat. So that's how the story of Noah's Ark came about. He was warned by an angel, but it says that, was it Enki turned into an angel or something, or whatever it is? Yeah. Enlil commands the various gods and goddesses. Okay, we already did that. In the wake of the deluge, the other gods and goddesses begin to regret their decision when it becomes clear that no one is left who can prepare and provide offerings and libations for them in their temples. This leads to the gods going hungry and risking starvation. The gods begin to mourn the loss of humanity, but are interrupted when Atrahasis, having docked his boat on solid land, which is Noah, when Noah docked his boat on solid land once more, he prepared a burnt offering to the gods, and the scent reached up to the heavens, and the gods drew near. Well, drew near. Enlil, however, initially is furious to see that humanity has once more survived his attempts to expunge them. He demands to know which of the gods defied his commands, but Enki quickly chastises him, or almost leading the entire pantheon to ruin. The great mother goddess, called Ninhushsaga in Sumerian and Belet Il in Akkadian, sides with Enki and says that if Enlil is determined to do away with humanity, then he don't get to partake in their offerings anymore. And the reality of starvation finally hits Enlil, and it is enough to temper his fury, and he acknowledges his error in trying to destroy humanity. According to the Epic of Gilgamesh, for keeping humanity alive and ensuring the gods would have servants to prepare and provide for their offerings, Udanapsistum and his wife, is that Noah? Is that who it was? Were given eternal life and moved to the paradisical realm of Dilum to live out the rest of eternity. This fate is not consistent across all of the accounts go. Who is this? This is a lot of names to keep up with, you all. So see, there's just so much history is what it is. A lot of history out there written, and you have these Sumerian tablets and stuff. You do. You have this stuff like this, which is really, really interesting. A Sumerian tablet depicting Enki in the creation myth. So I'm looking at that screen, and I'm looking my head sideways, you all. No, that's what I'm talking about right there. It is. Yeah, the Iliad of Homer. I think I have that book downstairs. I got a lot of books like that downstairs, but I just wanted to come on here and look at that for a tad bit is what I wanted to do. Actually, I did hear something about Turkey a long time ago. I really did, years ago, probably around 8 or 9 years ago, or 10 perhaps. I read something about Turkey. They bought Gilgamesh up to the house of El, which was a spaceship orbiting Earth, and he saw Earth from space. I think that I can think like that. I really can, and I can picture that. I really can, because I think there's something more to this sky. I really does. There's something going on in the skies above, you all. There really is, and I think there are ships up there, light ships, and to say that we're the only beings ever created means that we'd be on this earth all by ourselves, okay? And there's angels. I know there's angels. There's too many accounts of them. People seeing lighted figures and stuff like that. There's another life other than this life that we're living right now. Because when this spirit in my body, when this body dies and this body's no more, my spirit's going to exit this body, okay? I'm not going to need this body. I'm not. My spirit's going to live on, or you can say my soul's going to live on. Yeah. Oh, wow. So, it's pretty interesting, and it's nice seeing all the comments. I like it that you all share on here. I really do. I like it that you're respectful, too, to others, and let them share, too, without being disrespectful, because that's the way to get your, if you want your information to get out there and you want to get your point of view out there, that's the way to do it. Do it in a respectful way, and people are more than likely going to look at what you have to say. I will be more than likely to read your comment if I feel there is no derogatoriness, no negativeness associated, if just information that I can look at. I'm more than willing to read stuff like that, because I won't see any, I won't feel any negativeness behind it. And I'm sure other people are like that too. If you've got something to say and you want to get your point across, it will get it across like that. It really will. Yeah. Okay, you all. So I am going to go. Is tonight the night of the full moon is what I want to know. Is it? Yeah, you can remain a neutral. Is tonight the full moon night? Because I took footage of the moon tonight. And if it is, I can stick this in this video, or I can stick it in another video. Of course, if it gets stuck in this video, people aren't going to likely see the moon in this video. Okay, it's not. Yeah. Oh, Apple Brooks, honey, you are so welcome. Yes, you are. Oh, it's on the 17th. That's what I thought. That's what I thought you all. Gigi for truth. Yeah, I like to dance at times. I really do. Apple Brooks, honey, thank you for making that decision for me. I can either upload the pictures in a separate video, or I can come back on here and do a live video. Either, it doesn't matter to me. A total separate video as an individual upload without a live. Yeah. So, a new video. Well, we need to figure out, do you want it as an upload or do you want it as a live? That's the question now. Yeah, that's the question. I'll just wait. It's 9:20. Okay. Okay, that's perfect, you all. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to hang up here, and you're going to give me around 10 minutes, and then I'm going to come back on here live with the pictures of the moon is what I'm going to do. Oh, Susan B., honey, that's wonderful. That's perfect. And it'll be about the moon. Yeah, I don't like to throw stuff in here, and people think, oh, that's not about the moon, and they'll miss it. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll try to be back within 10 minutes with the pictures of the moon tonight. Have a wonderful